Want me to get the line now?
Hi everyone. How are you tonight? I hope you're really good. I'm feeling very good. Okay, I'd appreciate it if you could tell me if my sound settings, are okay. I've had a little bit of uncertainty about that over the last couple 3 days. So if you'd comment for me. Okay, Dale, when you say the sound effects are trippy, do you mean they're good, or do you think that there's a little bit of an echo, or please be a little more descriptive? Oh, looks and sounds fine. Oh, thank you, Dale. Okay, then I'm going to get on with it. That's very good to know. Okay, so what I want to talk about in this first stream tonight is something that happened to Bernie Sanders. Something that happened to Bernie Sanders. Okay, on the 9th of August, there was an article run on CNN in its Facts First series. And that article accused Bernie Okay, it accused Bernie of saying that the U.S. spends twice as much on health care per capita, as any other country in the world. The point is made that it's a claim he's been making since at least 2009. It was noted as false then, actually, by PolitiFact. He made it again in 2015. And PolitiFact, again noted that it was still false. And now Facts First says it's still false now. The U.S. does spend the highest amount on healthcare per capita, of any OECD country, but not but double every single one. Uh, well, I'm here to tell you that while the claim of fact first may be strictly true, the distortion in Bernie's claim doesn't seem to be designed to make the strongest argument he can against the system in the United States. It seems to be rather on the conservative side of what the facts are. Now, to be fair to CNN, they quote Bernie as saying, "We still spend twice as much per capita on healthcare, than any other country." He tweeted that, and he said in a CBS interview last week, and the Facts First article was published on August the 9th. Quote, "We are now spending as much per capita on healthcare as do the people, of any other country. Twice as much per capita, sorry." He said on CNN in June, "Right now, we spend twice as much per capita on healthcare as do the people, of any other nation." So they've got him saying that and saying that and saying that. And so then they say that according to estimates, 2018 estimates from the OECD, which they call a primary source of data on health spending for wealthy countries. The U.S. spent 10,586 per person last year in 2018. Switzerland spent 7,317 per person. Norway $6,187 per person. Germany $5,986 per person. Uh, and they were substantially above half the U.S. level, while Sweden at $5,447 per person, and Austria $5,395 per person, and Denmark at $5,299 per person were very slightly above half. Okay, in the case of Denmark, at $5,299 per person is very slightly above half, because when you divide the 10,586 by the 5,200, okay, and 99, you get 1.9997. Uh, Really, just about as close to half as you can get. The 5,395 per person is also fairly close to half. It's in the 1.9 something range, and the 5,447 per person is also in the 1.9 something range. But not to be too nitpicky about this, uh, okay, the number of countries named here by Facts First is one, two, three. Switzerland is one, Norway two, Germany three. Uh, Six countries that follow the United States, okay, in expenditures. Six countries out of all of the OECD group, okay, are either somewhat above half the amount of the U.S. or slightly above half the amount, okay, of the U.S. Okay, they correctly point out that the situation was similar for 2000, okay, and 17, and again for 2017 there were one, two, three, four. There were once again six countries that were either substantially above one half the cost or slightly above a half the cost. But how many countries are there in the OECD group? Well, there are roughly 46 countries. There are 46 countries inside of the OECD group. Down further in the article, what CNN says is they said Sanders could have accurately said the U.S. spends more than twice the average for OECD countries, which was an estimated, the average, the mean, was $3,992 in 2000, okay, and 18. And they also mention a firmer $3,854 in 2017. Okay, those are accurate figures, but it is not accurate Well, it's accurate, strictly speaking, to say the U.S. spends more than twice the average for OECD countries, but it distorts a little because when we take the $10,586 which the U.S. spent and divide it by the $3,992, which was the average for the OECD, we get 2.65 times the average for the OECD, which is not in the range of twice the average. It's more in the range of three times the average. So Bernie could have approximately claimed, to make his case even stronger, that we spend close to three times the average for the OECD countries. And he could have said that if he was using the mean, if he was using the mean as the average. The CNN article also says the Sanders campaign said Saturday that he was indeed referring to OECD averages and to medians. Okay, the median is a different kind of average. Okay, the mean or the normal average, okay, the arithmetic average, you take the numbers and you total them all up and you divide by the number of cases and you get, okay, an average. That's what we normally learn in school is the average. But if we take a statistics course, we learn that there are a number of different kinds of average. A second kind of average is uh, actually called the median. And the way you get the median is you count up the number of cases. First, what you do is you order the cases in terms of the rank of the cases. Okay, so you might order them from the highest case, which is the U.S. at 10,500, okay, and 86. Okay, and then you order all the cases from there on down in the descending order until you get to the case that's the smallest, which in the case of the OECD, I think it was something like 200, okay, and 88. But we'll double check that, okay, in just a minute. The important point here is that in order to take the median and get that figure, what you do is you count down towards the middle case. So the article notes that a CNN article pointed out that U.S. health spending was more than twice the median for 2016. Well, I went to that article, and what that article says is it gave the figures for 2016, the per capita spending figure for 2000, okay, and 16, and it gave the per capita spending figure as $9,892 per person, and then it gave the OECD figure as $4,033. And it says just below the place where it gives the figures that $4,033 was the median for the OECD. Now, that is very unlikely to be the case because we just saw that in 2018, that $3,992 figure for the OECD was the mean average. It was not actually the median figure. So, the other CNN article, which was written at the beginning of 2019, and yet somehow only used the 2016 statistics, that this was claiming, okay, that the median figure was 4,033. That had to have been a mistake. It's too close to the average for 2018 for it not to be a mistake. Furthermore, when one checks, okay, furthermore, when one looks at the title of that article, one sees that the title says the U.S. spends twice as much on healthcare as its peers. There was CNN saying the same thing Bernie Sanders said, but also incorrectly stating the case in a way that was not friendly to Bernie's case. That is to say, the $9,892 figure for the United States compared to the 4,033 average for the OECD is obviously close to 2.5 times the OECD figure. It's not simply 2 times. It's a distortion to say that it's 2 times, because there's a big difference between 2 times and approximately 2.5 times. And it understates the case. The point is, here is CNN demanding or suggesting that Bernie Sanders needs to be more accurate, that he made a false statement, trying to make him actually look bad, when the real question of importance here is the question, okay, of whether Bernie was deliberately distorting the case to make his case look better than it is. In other words, Bernie is suggesting we need to change to another healthcare system because we're spending an exorbitant amount compared to other countries on healthcare. Well, certainly it makes that case better if you can say that we spend for healthcare in the United States not twice as much, but nearly 3 times as much, or even better, more than 3 times as much. Now, could Bernie have said that it was more than 3 times as much if he wanted to, and been, in the narrow sense, completely accurate, okay, in doing that? Well, that all depends. If he used the median statistic instead of the average, it turns out that when you count down half the countries that are in the OECD group, you get to the median. The median country is the Slovak Republic. And that republic spends $2,290, or spent in 2018 $2,290 per capita. Okay, and compared to the United States, I'm going to get you that figure right now on the fly as we go. So if Bernie wanted to exaggerate his case, or to give the best impression he could have given, he could have claimed that we spend more than 3.54 times the average. And then in the footnote, he could have made clear, oh, well, I was using the median instead of the mean. So the issue is, how representative is the median? Well, the case just above the median is actually Portugal. I think healthcare in Portugal is thought to be pretty good. Then there's the Czech Republic. Healthcare there is thought to be pretty good. There's Korea, there's Spain, Italy, New Zealand. Okay, New Zealand is above the median, but it's below the OECD average. And certainly, healthcare in New Zealand is first class. Okay, moreover, if we go up a little higher, we're talking about higher than the average. We're talking about the United Kingdom, Finland, Iceland, Japan, Ireland. We spend more than two times those countries, more than two times Belgium, more than two times France, more than two times Canada, more than two times Australia and Luxembourg. And the Netherlands, because in 2018 costs went down in the Netherlands somewhat. Oh no, I'm sorry, they went up, but not by as much, okay, as other nations. So they were actually below two times the United States. Okay, and Denmark, as I made clear before, was actually just about at two times the United States. So what I'm saying is that at least 80% of the OECD countries maybe 85%. What is it? It's basically seven countries out of 46, including the United States. So seven countries out of 46. Only 15% of the OECD countries, including the United States, spend less than twice as much as the United States. So I'd say that to accuse Bernie, of distorting his figures or not being entirely truthful in his figures when he says we spend twice as much, as any other country, that may be strictly speaking a claim that is factually correct. In other words, that is false may be a claim that is factually correct. But the point is, if he had made an entirely true case that was based on the median, he might have claimed that we're spending 3.54 times the average in the OECD. So obviously, Bernie wasn't trying to overly impress people or to distort these figures for his own advantage. Because if he was, he would at least have said three times more, and maybe even 3.5 times more. Both of those would have been entirely justified. But really, Bernie is rather conservative in his claims. He's conservative when he talks about what the 10-year cost, okay, of Medicare for all is going to be. I mean, he very often says it's going to be $32 trillion. It's very unlikely that it's going to be $32 trillion. The reason why is because it can likely be done for the amount the government spends now. I'm sorry, for what the people of the United States spend as a total now, and that's $3.8 trillion. And the government, in total, at all levels, state and federal, is currently spending something like 2.5 to 2.6 trillion. So it's quite likely that the Medicare for All program would come in at somewhere under a $32 trillion figure or a $35 trillion figure or something like that. It seems to be a habit among the progressives to claim too little and not but too much because we progressives are afraid of being caught out by the other side. But look, even when we underestimate the likely savings due to a shift but to Medicare for all, or even when we underestimate the amount we spend on healthcare per person in comparison to what the average is for the OECD countries. We underestimate that amount and do not make the best case that we can. So the point here is it's clear that CNN was actually nitpicking Bernie. And that the issue here is not so much the narrow accuracy of a statement, okay, a person makes, but rather whether that person was trying to be truthful to the American people, or not. And I put to you that the basic idea that we spend more than twice as much as most other nations that are our peers in the OECD, that particular claim is an underestimate. And it errs in a direction that is less persuasive for Bernie's case rather than one that is more persuasive, okay, than Bernie's case. So, that's what I have to say on that subject. And now I'm going to look at your comments and questions. I've left links for everything that's relevant here that are in the description. Let me get to the Facebook page and look at some of the questions. Dale says, "Hey Barbara," okay, and Rob. Rob says, "Hey Yoda." Barbara says, "Hello." Dale says, "It looks and sounds fine." And Price Eisen is here tonight. Hiya, Price. Nice to see you. No, I'm sorry. That's something that Price actually posted, but just below. Uh, I'm going to go to the larger screen here so I can see the comments better, see what I've missed. Just below. I'm going to go to the larger screen here so I can see the comments better. Okay, my daughter Devore is here, and my wife Bonnie. Hi. Any other comments or questions? By the way, the answer to my question, did Bernie distort facts of healthcare spending in a manner biased towards his point of view? And my answer is no. He distorted the facts of healthcare spending in a manner that was biased against his point of view. It is CNN that was distorting facts, or at least interpretations, okay, in a manner for their point of view and against his point of view. Sorry, I'm waving my hand occasionally. I've still got a fruit fly in the house. It must be very long lived fruit fly. Sorry, I'm waving my hand occasionally. I've still got a fruit fly. So, hi Lana. How are you? A late hello from a long day of work. So, anyway, I'm taking comments and questions. Late hello from a long day of work. Okay, and if you don't have any, anyway, I'm taking comments and questions. And Russ, hi, how you doing? Fruit flies are critters of opportunity. Yes, I guess they are, Russ. And we don't have too many. It just seems like we have one or maybe two. But it seems to be hanging around for some reason, an abnormal amount of time. Maybe it's too hot out for the fruit fly. Though it cooled off somewhat. Okay, while you mull over questions or comments, I'm going to ask you to share, okay, if you can. And I'm also going to do the obligatory begging. Please share, like, and subscribe. And please become a patron at www.patreon.com/Joe underscore Firestone. Please share, like, and subscribe. And please become a patron at www.patreon.com/. And now I'll go check in on Facebook again. Oh, gee, look at this delay. Here I am again. What is the name of my YouTube channel? The name of my YouTube channel is joefirestone.com. But there's something wrong with my restreaming to the YouTube channel right now. I have a number, okay, of YouTubes up there, but there's something wrong that they're supposed to be fixing, okay, at YouTube, which is actually between the Restream by IO, which is the software I'm using to simultaneously stream to Facebook, okay, and to YouTube. And the last, I guess, for 5 streams, okay, the connection has not been working. I was able to get through, it must be 6 or 7 streams on YouTube last week, but I'm beginning to get a backlog of streams now that I'm going to have to take care of. And I'm going to have to take care of it in the old way, which is downloading it to my machine and then uploading it to YouTube. Anyway, that's the name of my YouTube channel. Any other questions? Anyway, that's the name of my YouTube channel. Any other questions? Okay, then I'm going to sign off now, and I'll be back in a few minutes. My second stream of the night is also going to be on Bernie Sanders. And specifically, I'm going to discuss an article that is telling us that Bernie had better do something about Joe Biden fairly soon. So I'll be seeing you in maybe 10 minutes for that. Or maybe I can share a YouTube link. Yeah, I can share a YouTube link. Hang on a second, Russ. Let me get one. Let's see. Maybe I can share a YouTube link. Yeah, I can share. Hang on a second. Okay. There's the link to my YouTube channel. How's that? There's the link to my YouTube channel. How's that? Okay. If there are no other questions, I'm going to sign off this, and I'll be on again in a few minutes with the second stream. I'm seeing a few likes go up from Facebook. If there are no other questions, I'm going to sign off this. The second stream. Okay, so I'll see you soon. Oh, Russ, thank you for subscribing to my channel, by the way, before I end this. Okay, here we go.